Of all the sentinels standing guard in our nutritional arsenal, few are as trusted, as ubiquitous, as the humble egg. It rests in the door of nearly every American refrigerator, a perfect, self-contained promise of protein and sustenance. We have scrambled them for celebratory brunches in bustling New York diners, folded them into comforting omelets on quiet Sunday mornings in suburban Ohio, and hard-boiled them for on-the-go lunches packed for a long day's work in California. The egg is a cornerstone of our culinary life, a symbol of simplicity and wholesome goodness. But what if this trusted soldier in your daily diet was, under certain circumstances, a double agent? What if the very habits we've cultivated for convenience and ease, the quick reheat in the microwave, the casual handling, the preference for a runny yolk, were inadvertently turning this nutritional powerhouse into a hidden adversary for our health? This is not a message of fear, but one of profound empowerment. The truth is, the way we handle, prepare, and consume eggs can unlock a cascade of unseen biological consequences, risks that are far more insidious than a simple upset stomach. For the general population, these risks may be negligible, easily brushed aside by a robust immune system. However, for a significant and cherished segment of our community, our seniors, our parents and grandparents, these subtle missteps can escalate into serious health crises. As the body ages, its defenses naturally wane, its systems become more sensitive, and its margin for error narrows. In this context, a seemingly innocent act like reheating yesterday's egg scramble is no longer benign. It becomes a biochemical event with potentially far-reaching implications. Today, we embark on a deep and comprehensive journey into the world of the egg, a world far more complex than its smooth, unassuming shell suggests. We will move beyond the headlines and nutritional labels to uncover the hidden truths that every person, especially those in their golden years, must understand to safeguard their well-being. We will explore not just what happens when an egg is mishandled, but why it happens, delving into the microbiology, the chemistry, and the physiology that govern these transformations. This is not about demonizing a food that has nourished humanity for millennia. It is about fostering a new level of respect and understanding for it. The knowledge you are about to gain is not merely interesting trivia. It is a critical toolkit for navigating your health with wisdom and foresight. So, settle in, because these revelations may not only change the way you look at your breakfast, but could be instrumental in protecting the vitality and longevity of you and your loved ones. Let's crack the shell on these surprising truths and begin our exploration. The foundational powerhouse, understanding the egg's majestic majesty. Before we venture into the shadows of potential risks, it is paramount that we first stand in the full sunlight of the egg's virtues. To appreciate the gravity of what can be lost through improper handling, we must first comprehend the magnificent treasure we are seeking to protect. The egg is not merely food. It is a biological masterpiece, a veritable capsule of life-sustaining nutrients engineered by nature to support a new being. When we consume an egg, we are partaking in this incredible concentration of vitality. Its reputation as a superfood is not a marketing gimmick. It is a title earned through its dense and diverse nutritional portfolio, which plays a critical role in maintaining health, particularly as we age. At the forefront of the egg's benefits is its high-quality protein. A single large egg provides about 6 grams of complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids in the precise ratios our bodies require.
These amino acids are the fundamental building blocks of life, indispensable for a vast array of bodily functions. For seniors, this is not an abstract concept. It is the very essence of maintaining a dignified and independent life. Adequate protein intake is the primary weapon against sarcopenia, the age-related decline in muscle mass, strength, and function. Sarcopenia is a silent thief that steals mobility, increases the risk of falls and fractures, and can dramatically reduce one's quality of life. The easily digestible and complete protein from eggs provides the raw materials needed to repair muscle tissue, support a strong skeletal frame, and preserve the physical strength required for daily activities, from climbing stairs to carrying groceries to playing with grandchildren.
Beyond muscle, this protein is crucial for the immune system. Antibodies, the soldiers of our immune defense, are themselves proteins. A diet rich in high-quality protein ensures that the body can mount a robust response to infections and illnesses, a function that becomes increasingly vital as the immune system naturally becomes less vigorous with age, a phenomenon known as immunosenescence. But the story of the egg's power extends far beyond protein. Housed within its golden yolk is a remarkable nutrient called choline. Choline is a critical component of cell membranes and a precursor to acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that is essential for memory, mood regulation, and muscle control. Research has increasingly linked adequate choline intake to better cognitive function and a lower risk of neurological decline. For an aging brain, choline is like a dedicated maintenance worker, helping to keep the lines of communication clear and the structure of brain cells intact. Yet it is estimated that a vast majority of the American population does not consume the recommended amount of choline. Eggs stand as one of the most concentrated dietary sources of this vital nutrient, making them a powerful ally in the fight to preserve mental sharpness and cognitive health throughout life. If you find this information about the foundational importance of protein and choline in eggs valuable for maintaining strength and cognitive function, please comment with the number 1 below to let us know you're building this crucial base of knowledge with us. Furthermore, the yolk is a treasure trove of fat-soluble vitamins, including vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, which is notoriously difficult to obtain from food. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption, making it a non-negotiable partner in maintaining bone density and preventing osteoporosis. As seniors are often at higher risk for both vitamin D deficiency and bone-related ailments, the contribution from eggs is profoundly significant. The yolk also provides vitamin A, crucial for vision and immune function, vitamin E, a potent antioxidant that protects cells from damage, and vitamin B12, which is vital for nerve function and the formation of red blood cells, helping to combat fatigue and anemia. And let us not forget 2 lesser-known but incredibly powerful antioxidants found in egg yolks, lutein and zeaxanthin. These compounds belong to the carotenoid family and accumulate in the retina of the eye, specifically in the macula. Here, they act as a natural form of internal sunglasses, filtering out harmful high-energy blue wavelengths of light and protecting the delicate cells of the eye from photooxidative damage. A robust body of scientific evidence suggests that a diet rich in lutein and zeaxanthin can significantly reduce the risk of 2 of the most common causes of age-related vision loss, cataracts and macular degeneration. By regularly consuming eggs, we are actively nourishing our eyes and investing in the long-term preservation of our precious sight. It is this incredible, synergistic combination of protein, choline, vitamins, and antioxidants that makes the egg a near-perfect food for supporting a healthy aging process. It simultaneously builds muscle, fortifies bones, sharpens the mind, and protects vision.
Understanding this baseline of immense benefit is the crucial first step. It is the reason we must proceed with such care and diligence. The following sections will detail how simple, everyday mistakes can compromise this nutritional integrity, degrade these powerful compounds, and even introduce harmful elements, transforming a source of vitality into a potential vector for illness. We are not trying to take eggs off the table. We are trying to ensure that every time an egg is eaten, it delivers its full, unadulterated promise of health. First secret, the unseen invader, a deep dive into salmonella and the imperative of food safety. When we picture a threat to our health, our minds often conjure dramatic images: a speeding car, a visible poison, a dramatic injury. Yet some of the most significant dangers are entirely invisible, silent invaders that exploit our moments of carelessness. In the context of eggs, the most notorious of these microscopic threats is Salmonella, a genus of bacteria that is a leading cause of foodborne illness in the United States. While the name is familiar, often heard in passing on news reports about restaurant outbreaks, the true nature of this threat and its specific danger to seniors is frequently underestimated. This is not just a matter of a temporary stomach bug. For an older adult, a salmonella infection can be a life-altering and, in some cases, life-threatening event.
To truly grasp the risk, we must understand how this bacterium operates. Salmonella can contaminate eggs in two primary ways. The first and more common route is through external contamination. The bacterium can be present in the droppings of the hen and can easily transfer to the surface of the eggshell. The shell, while seemingly solid, is actually porous, covered in thousands of tiny openings that can allow bacteria to penetrate, especially if the egg is wet or left at room temperature. The second, more insidious route is trans-ovarian transmission, where an infected hen passes the salmonella bacteria directly into the inside of the egg before the shell is even formed. This means that even a perfectly clean, uncracked egg can harbor the pathogen within its yolk or albumin. The trouble truly begins when these contaminated eggs are not handled or cooked with the respect they demand. Salmonella thrives and multiplies rapidly in what food safety experts call the danger zone, temperatures between 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius, and 140 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees. Leaving a carton of eggs on the kitchen counter for a few hours while you run errands can be all it takes for a small, manageable number of bacteria to multiply into an infectious army. This warm, nutrient-rich environment of the egg is the perfect incubator. It is a common belief that thorough cooking is the silver bullet that neutralizes this threat, and this is largely true. A temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 degrees Celsius, will reliably kill salmonella. However, many popular styles of preparing eggs fall short of this safety benchmark. Sunny side up, over easy, soft-boiled and poached eggs with their deliciously runny yolks often do not reach a high enough internal temperature to guarantee the elimination of all pathogens. While a younger person with a vigorous immune system might consume such an egg with no ill effects, an older adult is taking a significant gamble. Let us consider the story of John, a 72-year-old retired mechanic from Austin, Texas. John was a man of routine. Every morning, for as long as he could remember, he started his day with 2 sunny-side-up eggs and a piece of toast. He loved dipping the toast into the warm, liquid yolk. He was a creature of habit and saw no reason to change. He'd often crack the eggs and, without washing his hands, grab the bread for his toaster, inadvertently cross-contaminating his kitchen. One sweltering July week, after a breakfast that seemed no different from any other, he began to feel unwell. It started with a low-grade fever and a general feeling of malaise, which he initially dismissed as just feeling his age.
But within 24 hours, the illness escalated dramatically into severe abdominal cramps, projectile vomiting, and debilitating diarrhea. Dehydration set in rapidly, leaving him weak, dizzy, and disoriented. His daughter, finding him in a state of confusion, rushed him to the emergency room. The diagnosis came back swiftly: a severe salmonella infection, or salmonellosis. John's experience in the hospital was a harrowing ordeal. It was not a simple case of getting over it. For a senior, severe dehydration can strain the kidneys and the cardiovascular system. The violent cramps and gastrointestinal distress left him exhausted and malnourished. He required intravenous fluids for days to rehydrate and stabilize his electrolytes. The infection triggered a significant inflammatory response throughout his body, exacerbating his mild arthritis and leaving him with aches and pains long after the primary symptoms subsided. His recovery at home was slow and arduous, taking weeks before he felt even a semblance of his former self. The psychological toll was just as significant. John developed a deep-seated fear of eggs, the food that was once his comfort. He became anxious about eating in general, losing weight, and the simple joy he once found in meals. John's story is a powerful illustration of why salmonellosis is so much more dangerous for seniors. The age-related decline of the immune system, or immunosenescence, means the body's ability to fight off invaders is diminished. Furthermore, many older adults are managing pre-existing conditions like diabetes, heart disease, or kidney issues. A severe infection like salmonellosis acts as a major physiological stressor that can destabilize these conditions, leading to a cascade of complications.
The solution is not to live in fear, but to act with knowledge. The principles of safe egg handling are simple, yet non-negotiable. First, always purchase eggs from a refrigerated case and store them in the main body of your refrigerator, not the door where temperatures fluctuate, as soon as you get home. Second, embrace the clean principle. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds before and after handling raw eggs. Clean any surfaces, utensils, or cutting boards that have come into contact with raw eggs. Third, adhere to the cook principle. Cook eggs until both the yolk and the white are firm. If you enjoy dishes that use raw or lightly cooked eggs, such as homemade Caesar dressing, hollandaise sauce, or eggnog, use pasteurized eggs, which have been gently heated to kill bacteria without cooking the egg. Finally, avoid cross-contamination. Never let raw eggs or their shells touch ready-to-eat foods. Understanding this first secret, that the invisible threat of salmonella is real, potent, and particularly dangerous for seniors, is the foundational pillar of safe egg consumption. It transforms casual kitchen habits into conscious acts of self-preservation. It empowers us to neutralize the risk before it ever has a chance to manifest, ensuring that the only thing our eggs deliver is pure, unadulterated nutrition. Do you have a personal rule or tip for ensuring your eggs are always handled safely? Share your wisdom in the comments below. Your experience could help someone else in our community stay healthy. Second secret, the avidin-biotin betrayal, the hidden cost of raw consumption. In the world of health and wellness, a persistent myth often circulates that raw is synonymous with more potent or more natural. This belief has led many to incorporate raw foods into their diets, from uncooked vegetables to raw milk and, most pertinently to our discussion, raw eggs. Fitness enthusiasts blend them into protein shakes, and old-fashioned remedies sometimes call for a raw egg to be swallowed for a purported boost of strength or to soothe a sore throat. While the intention is often rooted in a desire for optimal health, the consumption of raw egg whites harbors a subtle but significant danger, a biochemical betrayal that can lead to a debilitating nutrient deficiency.
This danger centers on the interaction between a protein in egg whites called avidin and a crucial B vitamin called biotin. Biotin, also known as vitamin B7, is an essential nutrient that plays a pivotal role in the body's metabolic processes. It acts as a coenzyme, a helper molecule that allows enzymes to do their jobs effectively. It is vital for converting the food we eat, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, into usable energy. Beyond this fundamental role, biotin is famously associated with the health and integrity of our hair, skin, and nails. It supports the production of keratin, the primary structural protein that gives them strength and resilience. A deficiency in biotin can manifest in a constellation of distressing symptoms: thinning hair or hair loss, alopecia, a scaly red rash around the eyes, nose, and mouth, and brittle, easily broken nails. However, the consequences of biotin deficiency run deeper than cosmetic concerns. Neurologically, it can lead to symptoms such as depression, lethargy, hallucinations, and numbness or tingling sensations in the extremities. For seniors who may already be grappling with changes in mood or neurological function, these symptoms can be easily misattributed to the aging process itself, allowing the underlying deficiency to go undiagnosed and untreated. Here is where the betrayal occurs. Raw egg whites contain a unique glycoprotein called avidin. From a biological standpoint, avidin acts as an antimicrobial agent in the egg, protecting the developing embryo from bacterial invasion. It achieves this by binding with extraordinary tenacity to biotin, effectively sequestering it and making it unavailable for bacteria to use. This bond is one of the strongest non-covalent interactions found in nature. When a person consumes raw egg whites, this same process unfolds within their digestive tract. The avidin molecules seek out and bind to the biotin not only in the egg, but also to the biotin from other foods in the meal, and even the biotin produced by beneficial bacteria in the gut. This avidin-biotin complex is too large and stable to be absorbed by the intestinal wall. It simply passes through the body and takes the vital biotin with it.
A single raw egg now and then is unlikely to cause a problem. The body has reserves of biotin, and a healthy diet provides it from multiple sources. The danger arises from regular, habitual consumption of raw or significantly undercooked egg whites. Over time, this constant siphoning of biotin by avidin can deplete the body's stores and lead to a clinical deficiency. Consider the story of Margaret, a 78-year-old woman from Portland, Oregon, who was a passionate advocate for natural health. After reading about the benefits of liquid protein online, she began starting every day with a smoothie. Her recipe, which she believed was the key to her vitality, included fresh spinach, a banana, almond milk, and 2 raw eggs, cracked straight into the blender. For the first few months, she felt energetic, but gradually a creeping fatigue began to set in. She noticed more hair than usual in her brush and on her pillow. Her nails, once strong, became fragile and began to split. A persistent dry patch of skin appeared at the corner of her mouth. Her doctor initially ran standard blood tests, which came back normal. Her symptoms were vague and could easily be dismissed as part of getting older. But Margaret, being proactive about her health, sought a consultation with a nutritionist. The nutritionist, upon hearing about Margaret's daily raw egg smoothie, immediately suspected a biotin deficiency. A specialized test confirmed her suspicion. The connection was clear. Her healthy habit was the direct cause of her deteriorating condition. The solution was remarkably simple. Margaret was advised to stop using raw eggs in her smoothies immediately. The nutritionist explained that the simple act of cooking the egg whites completely denatures the avidin protein, changing its shape and destroying its ability to bind to biotin. A cooked egg not only eliminates this risk, but actually becomes an excellent source of bioavailable biotin.
Margaret switched to having a cooked omelet or scrambled eggs for breakfast. She also incorporated more biotin-rich foods into her diet, such as almonds, walnuts, sweet potatoes, and avocados. Within a few months, her energy levels returned, her hair loss subsided, and her skin and nails regained their healthy appearance. Margaret's story serves as a critical cautionary tale. The desire to pursue health is commendable, but it must be guided by sound scientific understanding, not by myths or fads. The avidin-biotin interaction is a perfect example of how a food can contain both a nutrient and an anti-nutrient, and how simple preparation can be the key to unlocking the former while neutralizing the latter. For seniors whose nutritional reserves may be lower and whose bodies are less resilient, avoiding this hidden trap is especially important. It ensures that their efforts to eat well are not unknowingly sabotaged. The knowledge that cooking is not just for safety from bacteria, but also for unlocking full nutritional potential is a powerful tool. If this explanation of the avidin-biotin interaction has been an eye-opener for you, please comment with the number 2 below. Your feedback helps us know which topics are providing the most value to our community. And if you haven't already, please consider supporting our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing, so you never miss these vital health insights. Third secret: the peril of the second heating, cholesterol oxidation and the silent assault on the heart. In our fast-paced, efficiency-driven American culture, the concept of leftovers is a cornerstone of kitchen management. Cooking in batches saves time, reduces waste, and simplifies meal planning. The microwave, our trusted ally in this endeavor, can resurrect a chilled meal in minutes. While this convenience is undeniable, a hidden chemical transformation occurs when certain foods are reheated, and eggs, particularly their yolks, are prime candidates for this dangerous alchemy. Reheating cooked eggs can trigger a process called cholesterol oxidation, creating compounds that are far more detrimental to cardiovascular health than the original cholesterol itself. This silent, invisible process can contribute to the very heart conditions that are a primary health concern for older adults.
To understand this risk, we must first look at the cholesterol found naturally in egg yolks. For decades, dietary cholesterol was vilified as a primary driver of high blood cholesterol and heart disease. More recent, nuanced science has shown that for most people, dietary cholesterol has a relatively minor impact on blood cholesterol levels compared to saturated and trans fats. However, this revised understanding comes with a critical caveat. It applies to cholesterol in its fresh, unoxidized state. When cholesterol is exposed to high heat, especially in the presence of oxygen, a process that occurs during initial cooking and is intensified during reheating, it can oxidize. This process is chemically similar to how iron rusts or how a cut apple turns brown. The cholesterol molecules are damaged, transforming into a family of compounds known as cholesterol oxidation products, or COPs. These COPs are the real villains in this story. Unlike their parent molecule, COPs have been shown in numerous studies to be pro-inflammatory and cytotoxic, meaning they are toxic to cells. When consumed, they are absorbed into the bloodstream and can inflict direct damage on the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of our arteries. This damage initiates an inflammatory response. The body, in its attempt to heal the injury, sends cholesterol, in the form of LDL particles, to patch the area. However, in a pro-inflammatory environment fueled by COPs, this process can go awry. The LDL particles themselves become oxidized, making them more likely to be engulfed by immune cells, forming foam cells. These foam cells accumulate, contributing to the formation of atherosclerotic plaques, the hard, waxy deposits that narrow and stiffen arteries.
This condition, atherosclerosis, is the underlying cause of most cardiovascular diseases. It is a silent, progressive disease that can develop over decades. By narrowing the arteries, it forces the heart to work harder to pump blood, leading to high blood pressure. If a piece of this plaque ruptures, it can trigger the formation of a blood clot that can block the artery entirely, causing a heart attack or, if it occurs in an artery leading to the brain, a stroke. For seniors who may already have some degree of pre-existing atherosclerosis, regularly consuming foods high in cups can be like throwing gasoline on a smoldering fire, accelerating the progression of this dangerous condition. Let's imagine the life of James, a 75-year-old retired high school teacher living in a quiet suburb of Chicago. James was a man of efficiency and economy. He lived alone and found it practical to boil a dozen eggs at the start of the week. He'd store them in the fridge, and for a quick lunch or snack, he would peel one or two and pop them in the microwave for 30 seconds to take the chill off. He also loved making large frittatas that he would portion out and reheat over the next few days. He believed he was making a heart-healthy choice. After all, eggs were full of protein and nutrients. Over the years, however, he began to experience shortness of breath when climbing stairs and occasional chest tightness, which he attributed to getting older. During a routine physical, his doctor noted his elevated blood pressure and ordered a coronary calcium scan, which revealed significant plaque buildup in his arteries. During a follow-up with a cardiologist, James's lifestyle and diet were discussed in detail. The cardiologist, well-versed in nutritional biochemistry, pointed out that while eggs themselves were not the enemy, his habit of frequently reheating them, especially in a microwave, which can cause uneven, intense heating, was likely a contributing factor to his arterial inflammation and plaque progression. The repeated heating of the cholesterol-rich yolks was creating a steady dietary influx of COPS. The doctor advised James to shift his habits, to cook his eggs fresh whenever possible, and, if he did have leftover boiled eggs, to eat them cold in a salad or on their own, rather than reheating them. This small, seemingly insignificant change was part of a larger strategy to reduce the inflammatory load on his cardiovascular system.
The takeaway from James's story is not that leftovers are inherently bad, but that we must be discerning. The risk of COP formation is highest in foods that are rich in cholesterol and are subjected to repeated or high-heat cooking. The solution is rooted in mindful preparation. Whenever feasible, cook eggs to order and consume them promptly. This minimizes the opportunity for cholesterol to oxidize. If you prepare eggs in advance, such as hard-boiled eggs, it is far safer to consume them chilled or at room temperature. Avoid the reflexive habit of microwaving them. This simple adjustment in behavior can significantly reduce your intake of these harmful compounds, offering a layer of protection for your heart and blood vessels. It is a powerful demonstration of how the how of our eating is just as critical as the what. If this deep dive into cholesterol oxidation and its impact on heart health is new and useful information for you, please let us know by commenting with the number 3 below. Your engagement helps us tailor our content to be as impactful as possible. Fourth secret: the fading power of protein. Degradation, digestion, and the battle against frailty. We have already celebrated the egg as a paragon of high-quality protein, an essential ally in the fight against age-related muscle loss. However, the potent protein found in a freshly cooked egg is not the same as the protein in an egg that has been cooked, cooled, and then subjected to a second round of heating. Just as reheating damages the cholesterol in the yolk, it also inflicts a different kind of injury on the delicate protein structures, primarily the albumin in the egg white.
This process of protein degradation can render the protein less nutritious, harder to digest, and can even create compounds that contribute to systemic inflammation, silently undermining the very benefits we seek from eating eggs in the first place. To understand this, we need to distinguish between two terms: denaturation and degradation. When you first cook an egg, the proteins denature. This is a normal, beneficial process where the tightly coiled protein chains unfold and change shape. It's what turns the liquid white into a solid. This initial denaturation actually makes the protein more digestible and its amino acids more accessible to the body. Degradation, on the other hand, is a more destructive process. When already cooked proteins are reheated, often to high temperatures in a microwave, the unfolded protein chains can be further broken down, cross-linked, or altered into novel, sometimes unrecognizable structures. This degradation has two major negative consequences for a senior's health. The first is a reduction in bioavailability and digestibility. The digestive system of an older adult is often less efficient than that of a younger person. Stomach acid production may decline, and the output of digestive enzymes can decline. This means the body is already working harder to extract nutrients from food. When it is presented with the structurally altered degraded proteins from a reheated egg, the challenge is magnified. The body's enzymes may struggle to latch onto and break down these unfamiliar protein shapes, meaning that a significant portion of the protein may pass through the digestive system unabsorbed. A person might think they are consuming 6 grams of protein, but their body may only be able to utilize a fraction of that amount. Over time, this protein gap between perceived intake and actual absorption can contribute to a gradual slide towards malnutrition and sarcopenia, even in someone who believes they are eating a protein-rich diet. Let's meet Helen, a 70-year-old avid gardener from rural Pennsylvania. Helen lived for her time outdoors, tending to her vibrant flower beds and vegetable patch. She knew the importance of protein for keeping her strong enough for the physical demands of her hobby. To save time, she would often make a large batch of scrambled eggs in the morning and reheat a portion in the microwave for lunch. Over a period of a year, she began to notice a frustrating decline in her stamina. Weeding the garden left her feeling unusually weak, and lifting bags of soil became a monumental task. She was eating what she thought was a healthy diet, with her eggs as the centerpiece, yet she was losing muscle tone and energy.
Her daughter, a registered dietitian, came to visit and observed her mother's routine. She gently explained the concept of protein degradation. She pointed out that while her mother's intention was excellent, the reheated eggs were likely not providing the high-quality, bioavailable protein her body desperately needed to repair the muscle she used while gardening. She encouraged Helen to try an experiment. For 1 month, she would cook her eggs fresh for each meal. The change was not instantaneous, but within a few weeks, Helen began to feel a noticeable difference. The pervasive weakness began to lift, and she felt a renewed sense of strength and resilience in her limbs. She was consuming the same number of eggs, but by preparing them fresh, she was finally giving her body the usable building blocks it required. The second major consequence of protein degradation is the formation of potentially harmful compounds. Reheating proteins in the presence of sugars, even the small amounts naturally present in foods, at high temperatures can create what are known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. AGs are pro-inflammatory molecules that are implicated in a wide range of age-related chronic diseases. They contribute to oxidative stress throughout the body, which is essentially cellular-level damage. In the context of aging, AGs are particularly pernicious. They can cause the collagen in our skin, joints, and blood vessels to become stiff and dysfunctional, contributing to wrinkles, arthritis, and hypertension.
They are also known to worsen insulin resistance, a key factor in type 2 diabetes, and have been linked to cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases. By regularly consuming reheated eggs, a senior might be unknowingly increasing their body's load of these damaging ages, accelerating the aging process on a molecular level. This secret, the degradation of protein, is a subtle but profound one. It teaches us that the nutritional value listed on a food label is not a static guarantee. It is a potential that can be preserved or diminished by our preparation methods. For a senior fighting to maintain independence, muscle mass, and cognitive function, every gram of high-quality, bioavailable protein is precious. Choosing to cook eggs fresh is not a matter of culinary snobbery. It is a strategic decision to ensure that this vital nutrient is delivered to the body in its most potent and beneficial form, without the accompanying baggage of indigestible fragments and inflammatory compounds. If you're still with us and finding this detailed look at protein degradation and AGs to be valuable, please show your support by commenting with the number 4 below. It lets us know that these deeper scientific explanations are resonating. And as always, if you haven't subscribed yet, we invite you to do so and turn on notifications to continue receiving content designed to empower your health journey. Fifth secret, the danger zone, bacterial proliferation in stored and reheated leftovers. We have already explored the initial threat of salmonella contamination in raw eggs. However, the danger from bacteria does not end once the egg is cooked. A new and equally significant risk emerges when cooked egg dishes are improperly stored and reheated. This issue revolves around the fundamental principles of food safety and the danger zone we mentioned earlier, the temperature range between 40 degrees and 140 degrees, where bacteria multiply with astonishing speed. For seniors whose immune systems are less equipped to handle even a moderate bacterial load, a lapse in food storage or reheating practices can transform a harmless leftover into a potent source of illness. The problem often begins right after the meal is cooked. Imagine a scenario. You've made a large egg casserole or a batch of egg salad for a family gathering. After the meal, the dish sits on the counter for an hour or two while people chat and clean up. During this time, even if the food was perfectly cooked and sterile, it can become recontaminated. Spores of bacteria like Clostridium perfringens or Bacillus cereus, which can survive the cooking process, can begin to germinate and multiply. Or bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus can be transferred from someone's hands. In the warm, nutrient-dense environment of the egg dish, these bacteria can double their population every 20 minutes. A single bacterium can become thousands in just a few hours.
The food is then put into the refrigerator. Refrigeration below 40 degrees Fahrenheit slows or stops the growth of most bacteria, but it does not kill the ones that are already there. The leftover dish now harbors a hidden colony of pathogens, waiting for their next opportunity to thrive. That opportunity arrives at reheating. Here, two common mistakes create a perfect storm of risk. The first mistake is insufficient reheating. A person might take the leftover egg dish out of the fridge and warm it just enough to be palatable, perhaps in a microwave for a minute or on the stove for a few moments. This gentle warming can be disastrous. It can raise the food's temperature directly into the danger zone, e.g. to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Fahrenheit, creating an ideal incubator for the dormant bacteria to reawaken and multiply explosively before the food is consumed. To be safe, all leftovers, especially high-risk foods like egg dishes, must be reheated thoroughly to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit.
This temperature is high enough to kill any bacteria that may have grown during storage. Using a food thermometer is the only way to be certain. The second and perhaps more common mistake is uneven heating, which is the notorious Achilles heel of microwave ovens. Microwaves work by agitating water molecules, creating heat. However, they often do this unevenly, creating hot spots where the food is steaming and cold spots where the temperature has barely risen. These cold spots can remain well within the danger zone, allowing pockets of bacteria to survive and even flourish while other parts of the dish are scalding hot. A person might take a bite from a hot section and assume the entire dish is safe, when in reality they are consuming a mouthful of active pathogens from a colder part. Let us revisit the story of George, a 78-year-old retiree from Florida, who loved the convenience of making a large bowl of egg salad to last him for several days. He was careful to refrigerate it, but his habits were lax. He'd use a large, deep bowl, which takes longer to cool in the center. He'd also leave it on the counter for a while before putting it away. For a quick sandwich, he'd scoop some out, but wouldn't warm it, assuming it was safe since it was cooked. One afternoon, after eating an egg salad sandwich made from a batch that was 3 days old, he began to experience violent stomach cramps and watery diarrhea. He became severely ill and was eventually hospitalized for food poisoning caused by Staphylococcus aureus. His doctors explained that the bacteria likely came from his hands during preparation and had multiplied during the periods of improper cooling and storage. The toxins produced by the bacteria were not destroyed by the cold and caused his severe illness. George's experience underscores the critical importance of a holistic approach to food safety that extends beyond the initial cooking. For seniors, the following practices are not just suggestions, they are essential safeguards. 1. The 2-hour rule. Never leave cooked egg dishes or any perishable food at room temperature for more than 2 hours, or 1 hour if the ambient temperature is above 90 degrees. 2. Proper cooling and storage. To cool leftovers quickly and evenly, divide large portions into smaller, shallow containers before refrigerating. This allows the food to cool down through the danger zone as rapidly as possible. 3. Mindful reheating. When reheating, ensure the food reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. If using a microwave, cover the food to trap steam and stir it partway through the heating process to promote even temperature distribution. Let it stand for a minute after heating to allow the temperature to equalize. 4. Know when to let go. Leftover egg dishes should ideally be consumed within 1 to 2 days. A general rule for all leftovers is to discard them after 3 to 4 days. When in doubt, throw it out. The risk is simply not worth it.
This final secret connects all the others. The way we store and reheat our food is the last line of defense in ensuring its safety. For an older adult with a compromised immune system, a seemingly harmless plate of leftovers can become a vector for a serious, debilitating illness. By respecting the danger zone and adopting meticulous storage and reheating habits, we close this dangerous loophole, ensuring that the convenience of leftovers does not come at the cost of our health. Have you ever had a close call with leftovers or have a foolproof method for storing and reheating food safely? Please share your stories and tips in the comments section. We all learn from each other's experiences. Beyond the 5 secrets, other critical considerations for the conscious consumer. While the 5 secrets we have explored form the core of safe and healthy egg consumption, a truly comprehensive understanding requires us to look at a few additional nuanced factors. These considerations add further layers to our knowledge, empowering us to make the most informed choices possible, not just in our kitchens, but also in the grocery store aisle. The source of the egg matters. In today's food landscape, not all eggs are created equal. The nutritional content and even the potential for contamination can be influenced by the diet and living conditions of the hen that laid the egg. The vast majority of eggs sold in the United States come from hens raised in conventional, concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, often called battery cages. These hens are typically fed a diet of corn and soy and have very little room to move. In contrast, eggs labeled pasture-raised come from hens that are given access to the outdoors, where they can forage for their natural diet of plants, insects, and worms, supplemented with feed. A growing body of research suggests that this more natural lifestyle can result in a nutritionally superior egg. Studies have shown that, compared to conventional eggs, pasture-raised eggs may contain significantly more vitamin E, vitamin A, and heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids, and less cholesterol and saturated fat. The yolks of pasture-raised eggs are often a deeper, more vibrant orange, a visual cue of their higher carotenoid content, including the eye-protecting lutein and zeaxanthin we discussed earlier. From a safety perspective, while any egg can potentially be contaminated with salmonella, some argue that the less crowded, more natural living conditions of pasture-raised hens may lead to lower stress levels and better overall health, potentially reducing the likelihood of infection. While this is a complex issue with ongoing research, choosing eggs from sources that prioritize animal welfare and natural diets can be a meaningful step for those seeking to maximize the nutritional benefits of this powerful food. If these insights into the differences between types of eggs have brought value to you, please support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and remembering to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss insightful and useful content like this in the future. The rise of egg allergies and intolerances. While we often think of food allergies as something that develops in childhood, it is possible to develop them at any point in life. An egg allergy is an immune system reaction that occurs shortly after eating eggs or egg-containing foods. Symptoms can range from mild, such as skin hives or nasal congestion, to severe, such as abdominal pain, vomiting, or even anaphylaxis, a life-threatening reaction. More common, especially as people age, is the development of a food intolerance. Unlike an allergy, an intolerance does not involve the immune system, but rather the digestive system. An egg intolerance may mean the body has difficulty digesting eggs, leading to symptoms like bloating, gas, stomach cramps, or diarrhea, often appearing hours after consumption. For a senior who is already managing digestive changes, a newly developed intolerance can be a source of chronic discomfort. If you consistently experience adverse symptoms after eating eggs, it is crucial not to ignore them. Keeping a food diary and discussing your symptoms with a healthcare provider or a registered dietitian can help determine if an allergy or intolerance is the root cause, allowing you to adjust your diet accordingly. Potential medication interactions. This is an area that requires extreme caution and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. However, it is important to be aware that diet and medications can interact. For example, individuals taking certain cholesterol-lowering medications or those on specific therapeutic diets for kidney disease may have unique dietary guidelines that affect their consumption of foods like eggs. The protein and fat content of eggs can also influence the absorption and metabolism of some drugs. The key takeaway here is the importance of open communication. Seniors, who are more likely to be taking one or more prescription medications, should always feel empowered to have detailed conversations with their doctor or pharmacist about their diet. Asking a simple question like, "Are there any foods I should be careful with while taking this medication?" can prevent unintended interactions and ensure that both their nutritional plan and their medical treatment are working in harmony. These additional considerations round out our understanding. They remind us that health is a holistic endeavor. It involves not just how we cook, but what we buy. Not just what we eat, but how our individual bodies respond. And not just our diet in isolation, but how it integrates with our overall health and medical needs. By keeping these points in mind, we move from being passive consumers to being active, engaged, and highly informed architects of our own well-being. Conclusion: from fear to fortitude, embracing a new relationship with eggs. We began this journey with a question: what if a trusted food was a hidden adversary? Over the course of our deep exploration, we have unraveled the complex truths behind this question. We have seen how the magnificent nutritional promise of the egg, its muscle-building protein, its brain-boosting choline, its vision-protecting antioxidants, can be compromised or even corrupted through simple, everyday habits. We have journeyed into the microscopic world of salmonella, uncovered the biochemical betrayal of avidin, witnessed the silent assault of cholesterol oxidation, and understood the nutritional fading caused by protein degradation. We have stood on the precipice of the danger zone and recognized the profound importance of our role as vigilant guardians of our own food safety. The purpose of this extensive analysis has not been to instill fear or to banish eggs from your plate. On the contrary, the goal has been to replace fear with knowledge and apprehension with confidence. The true takeaway is one of profound empowerment. The power to protect yourself from these hidden risks lies entirely within your hands. It is found in the simple, conscious acts of washing your hands, of storing eggs in the cold heart of the refrigerator, of cooking them fresh and thoroughly, of choosing to eat a leftover chilled rather than subjecting it to the harsh and uneven heat of a microwave. These are not burdensome chores, they are acts of self-respect. They are small, daily investments in your own longevity and vitality. For our seniors, for the generations who have built the world we inhabit, this knowledge is especially crucial. In the golden years of life, health is not just the absence of illness, it is the presence of strength, clarity, and independence. It is the ability to enjoy a walk in the park, to engage in a beloved hobby, to share a meal with family without worry. Protecting this quality of life requires a new level of mindfulness, a gentle adaptation of lifelong habits to meet the body's changing needs. I invite you to reflect on the secrets we have shared today. See them not as a list of restrictions, but as a map to a safer, healthier way of enjoying one of nature's most perfect foods. You now possess the understanding to navigate the potential pitfalls and to ensure that every egg you eat contributes positively to your well-being, fortifying your body and mind for the years to come. Your health is your most precious asset, and nurturing it through informed, deliberate choices is the greatest gift you can give yourself. After all of this analysis, what is the single most important lesson or habit change you will take away for yourself? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Your personal reflections are incredibly valuable and create a community of shared wisdom. Remember, the journey of self-care is a marathon, not a sprint. Start with these small, powerful steps today. Thank you for investing your time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next exploration of health and wellness.